And you buy this, that the U.S. needs this?
So I believe that through our treaty rights that we have the access that we need. But I do want to say the president today put his best case forward, and it's a case that deserves consideration. And in particular, if we intend to use Greenland as a nexus for our missile defense system vis-a-vis the Soviet or Russia, I think that involves real consideration.
I guess the question is how the Europeans will react and whether they will get on board, because they have been very resistant and stood firm against this. I mentioned very different than the original trade threats around the deal.
I mean, obviously, they're going to be resistant. It's this to
sovereignty.
Yes, it like strikes at the core of every nation, right? What is its sovereign rights? What is its territory? And I think that a discussion like this should take time, should be thoughtfully laid out. The case must be made to the people of Denmark, to the people of Greenland. And I think we need to continue to make our case as best we can if we want to pursue this path. It should not be done abruptly. It should not be done under any form of either military or economic force. That's just not the way to deal with our allies here in Europe.
I know you probably don't agree, though, with using tariffs as a threat or a tool to get it.
As I said, we should use neither military nor economic force.
Yeah, well, it was interesting that he didn't mention it. He did mention the stock market yesterday and said that clearly investors are paying attention, that we saw a dip in the stock market yesterday on friction between the U.S. and Europe.
Yes, investors around the world do not want to see an escalation of the stress in global trade that has played out over the last 12 months. There's no doubt investors want to see a stability in the terms of trade between the major trading partners of the world.
Yes, and I guess the uncertainty factor that we could have more tariffs. Though, tariffs didn't turn out as bad, at least economically, as a lot of people were fearing on inflation, on consumer, and on the economy. Were you surprised?
Well, let's take a huge step back. The most recent research indicates that so anytime you impose a tax, and a tariff is a tax, the question is who pays the tax? And the hope that the administration had was that the tax be borne by foreign companies. Unfortunately, the most recent research indicates the tax been borne by both American consumers and by American businesses. So the money raised by Washington in the tariffs has really come at the expense of the American people. That was not the initial theory behind.
So you do see the harm being done?
I do.
You think the manufacturing sector, too? I mean, we haven't. Something I talked to Secretary Lutnick about is, they're trying to bring back manufacturing with these policies. We haven't seen growth in manufacturing jobs yet.
We have not. And one of the big issues is the United States has such a long-standing history of low tariffs. It's very hard to convince yourself to spend hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to build a new factory predicated on the ongoing existence of tariffs. Okay. That's a tough decision to get to. And, I'll give, Secretary Lutnick real credit. He wrote a great piece in the FT, which really, I think, expresses the ethos of this administration, which is to put the American people first.
Anti-globalization.
It's a little different than anti-globalization. It's much more of how do we make sure that the American worker is treated fairly.